Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Fifth Road Tarot. I am here with your weekly reading. I am going to try a few things in here and would love feedback if you have any. But recently for me, I've been, what's the word? I've been having this kind of an undercurrent feeling of wanting to share and tell more stories. Because, and I think it's kind of course, related to how I like to read tarot and like pull out a story, but also it's um, the study of uh, a lot of Jungian analysts, and of course, a lot of the more modern takes on that analysis. A lot of them have used stories and myths and things like that. And it's actually, I believe it's something that's in the notes for this week's reading, but I wanted to start off with sharing a fairy tale. And then hopefully, if we think about the mythology of the story, regardless of what story it is, maybe we can understand how that relates to our waking, walking life. Yeah. So here goes. All right. So wherever this one is called, this is my actually one of my old books. Very old. I've had this for a very long time. It used to be hardcover and now it's um, held together by duct tape, actually. Um, so decided to just read a short story and yeah, hopefully you enjoy it. So this one is called An Indian Tale. Okay. Wherever a man goes, he takes his shadow along with him, so he always has someone to speak to. Long, long ago, the stars used to hunt on the prairie with the Indians. They looked like beautiful Indian maidens, but because they were transparent, they did not throw a shadow like ordinary people. So their leader begged the sun god to make them shadows by magic, but the sun god did not hear her plea. I shall ask the moon god, sisters, said their leader. In the night she took a canoe and rowed over the endless lake to the place where it touches the sky. There she stepped out of the canoe and into the sky. Give us shadows, she begged the moon god, that we may have a companion to speak to when we hunt alone. The moon heard her plea and said, It shall be, but from now on you may hunt only in the sky, by the light of my beams. Call your sisters. The leader of the stars looked down to earth and saw her own shimmering reflection on the surface of the lake. What is that? She wondered. It is your shadow, replied the moon god. Because you are clear and sparkling, your shadow, too, is clear and sparkling. The star was delighted, and she called her sisters to her, and ever since then the stars have hunted only in the heavens. I love that story. Um, but yeah, they talk about shadows, they talk about the stars, myths of creation. Of course, a lot of that is in Women Who Run with the Wolves, and I highly recommend that book. But let's get started with the readings for today. I am going to do the full moon reading, and we have full moon in Pisces, and Pisces is represented or course correlated with the third eye chakra, which is the Ajna chakra, which is representative of like intuition, um, higher spiritual thought. And of course, I have my Virgo candle here, which is the purpose candle, and that is the solar plexus chakra. And we also have the white candle here for the full moon. Okay. I marked the wrong page. All right. So, some notes for the week. How do we create a new mythology, a new story that decenters the human experience and re envisions us as a whole and one with the earth, or at least with the universe around us? what is that story? And I invite you to journal about that. What kind of new mythology can we create? Just even based on that story that I read in the beginning, that it's a fairy tale, but it's also kind of a mythology of how the stars got into the sky. So I also encourage you to keep dream journals and talk openly about your dreams. I actually had uh, a what's the word? Conversation. Sorry, I don't know why I'm missing words. I had a conversation with a colleague of mine the other day about dreams, and normally, honestly, this and like with family and friends are the only places where I really talk about dreams. But the fact that it came up in a space where, I typically wouldn't talk about dreams, especially where I work, but it was really great to be able to like be open about that because as soon as I was asked, I just, you know, floodgates released. Let me tell you about all my dreams. So, but I encourage you to keep dream journals and talk openly about your dreams, about the dreams that you're having, because they're also stories. And by the way, I do have a shamanic journey reading, which is always personal to me, um, coming out soon at some point. I'm still working on it, getting all the cover and everything ready. So yeah. Now I also usually give astrology for the week, and I've gone over pretty much everything that's going on except for the moon is always changing signs and stages. But currently, as of this reading, the moon is in its waxing gibbous phase, and we're heading toward the full moon. And it's also currently in the sign of Aquarius. But I did not talk about one particular placement in the sky, which is Chiron. Chiron is in mythology part man and part horse, but Chiron in astrology represents shamanism and healing. And because Chiron is in Aries, Chiron is also known as the wounded healer. But because Chiron is in Aries and now it's actually retrograde in Aries, we have a chance as humanity to not only heal concealed trauma, but we are also learning self-reliance and autonomy as we move forward. So, and Chiron moves through signs, like I think it's like between 2 to 8 years, which is interesting. Yeah, so Chiron stays in signs between 2 to 8 years. I just jotted that note down from a few books that I will reference in the description. So let's see. Okay, and the full moon is in Pisces. So, okay, let's talk about where we are right now. As of me reading this right now, the waxing gibbous moon is in Aquarius. And that means the waxing gibbous, we are analyzing what was developed and perfecting the form from the previous cycle. And all this, of course, comes from the Dark Goddess book. I usually have it on me, and I don't have it on me today. I will reference it. It is referenced in the descriptions. So we are in the phase of analyzing what is developed, and we are perfecting that form, like what it looks like. So now, because we're on the quest for perfecting that form, we're on a path of, trajection toward that. And whatever seed that we planted at the new moon is now budding. But now let's talk about the full moon on Wednesday. Actually, no, I'm not going to talk about the full moon today. I'm going to just do this, and I'll do more about the full moon coming up in that video. Okay, let's see. Did I do the full moon? Was I going to do the full moon, or did I separate that out? No, I'm going to do the full moon here. Okay, sorry to confuse you. I earlier decided that maybe I would not do the full moon reading, but yes, I will do the full moon reading. Sorry. Okay, so full moon Pisces. Um, the full moon is that meaning of life purpose has now been revealed to us and is infused into that structure that has now been built up. And we are now at peak light, peak vision, peak promise. It's everything is blooming. And in this phase, it's known as being in the mother phase. So we've got the crone, the maiden, and the mother. The mother is this, all right, I've got this thing that I now must care for. I've given birth already. I've gone through the phase of, well, actually, in a lot of in women's cycles, that when they talk about correlating with the moon, the full moon correlates to ovulation. So, take it as you will, but it is this mothering mode. The full moon is known as the mother phase. Now, if we move into tarot, the full moon is going to be in Pisces. The moon card itself in tarot is represented by Pisces. So this is going to be a period of the moon being intuition, mystery, and subtlety, right? But also a reflection of the truths that we've put out, or even looking at maybe like, I don't want to say like a half truth, but looking at the strangeness of the truth. And the strangeness is in that mystery, right? But Pisces is this, we're finding inspiration from the mystery. We're finding a way to be hospitable and being of service. And of course, with the moon card, when we think of the moon, the high priestess card in tarot is also led by the moon itself. So we're even looking at the possibility of a female intercessor coming into this idea of, maybe we're finding inspiration in a female leader. Maybe we're finding inspiration in the feminine parts of ourselves. Or maybe we're understanding that we can get what we need by looking at these feminine aspects. Excuse me. Sorry, let me get some water. Okay. So again, there's inspiration, hospitality, and service. However, because this is Pisces, Pisces is a very watery sign. It is a water sign. No, wait. Is it Pisces? Yes, Pisces is a water sign. But it's also got a lot of movement and, Pisces, I think as a personality, Pisces are always going in like several directions and they never tell you which direction. They'll run away. They'll just like go off in another direction. And they're always very watery, which is, fine. That's cool. That's just me understanding the nature of Pisces from observing different people. And that's Pisces as a sun sign. So, but I won't get into that too deeply. The warning here is try not to get too deep into these positive traits of inspiration, hospitality, and service, i.e., being so deep in your intuition that you don't pay attention to where you're stepping, because Pisces rules the feet, and everything, pretty much everything about the feet. So don't have your head too much in the sky and in the mystery that you're not watching where you're walking, right? Pisces is ruled by Neptune, which in tarot is represented by the Hanged Man. So there could be at this time a change in perspective or a new way of seeing things. But also, again, if you trip and fall, of course, you're going to have a new way of seeing things, right? So just take it how you will. Take it how, if it resonates, fine. If it doesn't, also fine. So just to finalize, a note on Chiron in Aries. The wound is the place where the light enters you. And that is a quote from Rumi. So, if you find yourself being tripped up by something that comes up for you, like something that is the mystery, because you're focusing on something else and you get tripped up, let that tripping, have you ever seen these people that like they trip and then they kind of play it off? Like they just kind of make it their own, you know? So the wound is the place where the light enters you. It's a way of basically letting the wound be the wound and kind of, what's the word, alchemically, changing it, making lemons into lemonade. There you go. Okay. But I hate to ruin a Rumi quote that's so beautiful with, turn lemons into lemonade. But the wound is the place where the light enters you. If you are wounded, let the light enter you. Okay. So let's get into the full moon reading. I think I'm gonna do. Yeah. Okay. I think I'm gonna do the Rider Waite for the full moon, and I'll do Wild Unknown Tarot for the weekly. So let's get into this full moon reading. I call on my ascended masters and teachers. I call on my divine masters and teachers. I call on my ascended and enlightened ancestors to come into this reading with some guidance and a message for the collective. I also call on the elements of air, fire, water, earth, and the fifth element that combines them all, the nature of spirituality. Come on. I ask that you come into this reading with guidance for the collective. I can already feel this being pretty spiritual. So let's go ahead. Spirit, can you give me some cards for the collective for this reading? For the full moon in Pisces. Can you give us some guidance? Ooh, wow, that popped up. Can you give us some guidance for the full moon in Pisces? Can you give us some guidance for the full moon in Pisces? Okay. Okie dokie. Wow. Yep, there we go. Alright, the moon card came out, which on the bottom of the deck, which is awesome. But let's go ahead and take a look. We've got the Two of Wands. We've got the Ten of Cups. The Temperance card. And the Devil. Alright, let me take a look here and see what we've got going on. Interesting. All right, so overall here, I definitely see that someone is building something for spiritual fulfillment, but the spiritual fulfillment is kind of overriding this reading with this Ten of Cups. But let's see where we're starting. This two of Wands. I'm gonna say the Two of Swords. Twos are always about making a decision between one or the other, and you can see here, this guy is, standing on top of what looks like a castle, maybe a turret, And it seems like there's some sort of well-established um, idea. You can see where this wand is connected to the top of this castle. But he's got other plans and ideas. He's got a globe in his hand and his other wand, and he's kind of it's a contemplative card of I'm stable where I am now, but I'm considering moving my passion in another direction, in another location. So it could be that you are stable where you are now, but you're considering, should I go establish myself elsewhere, establish this new passion that's burgeoning, right? That's becoming not uncovered, but discovery. Yeah, this seems like a decision between staying where you are and discovering something new. And because wands are about passion, energy, um, because of the cards that are surrounding it, it almost seems a little bit like there is this feeling of stagnancy from where you are right now, which is kind of um, pushing this idea of wanting to discover something else. All right. So now let's look at the Ten of Cups. And the Ten of Cups, like this is, emotional fulfillment. You've gone through the journey of the cups, right? And cups are about this. Cups are about emotions, yes, but cups are about the spiritual energy that drives us, right? They're not the actions that we take, but they're the feelings that we feel. And so we're being driven so much by this want of emotional fulfillment of, you can see in the card, there's a man and a woman and two children. They're playing in a field. There's a house in the distance. It's almost as if they want for nothing. They have their spiritual fulfillment, their emotional fulfillment. And of course, 10 is a number of completion of I'm good. I feel pretty good, but it's also, to me, there's someone that might even be, because this man, right, and this two of, can you see that? Okay, because the man in this Two of Wands is looking away from this, it seems as if there is emotional fulfillment here, but someone is like, but should I go in another direction? Should I follow my passions to go elsewhere? Okay. And so temperance comes in. Temperance is an angel standing at the edge of a body of water and pouring from one cup to another. So this is a card of divine, to me, it's a card of divine balance. Um, finding hmm, because the angel is pouring water, this is well hmm, this is finding synergy, and it could be that you're wanting to have a conversation with someone about no, you're trying to find synchronicity. That's what it is. A synthesis of ideas. And again, I'm referencing some like different meanings that I've come across as I've been studying tarot. But especially when we're talking about making a decision, right? There's a coming together of ideas, but because this is water, this is the coming together of emotions. How are we um, how are we finding um, commonality or common ground between these two things, this Two of Wands and this Ten of Cups? How are we creating a synthesis of these two? Can we fulfill both? So you might even be contemplating um, yeah, it's kind of trying to figure out, should I move? I've already got everything that I want. Should I move? I mean, it could be as simple as that, and then finding whether or not you are, what's the word? Yeah, it's the combining of different sides, different ideas, and that's what temperance brings us. So yeah, temperance is the balance card. This is the, gosh, it. I don't want to say like it's divine intervention, but it's almost like a divine conversation, like a kismet conversation to me, where um, you are pouring into the cup of the other, and that other is receiving it um, kindly. You know what I mean? Like it's good communication. However, now we have this devil card. And so a lot of times, people look at the devil and they're like, they get the devil card and the death card are the two scariest, right? But here there is this idea that the two things that are now linked in this, by having this conversation, I really just think this is, um, so okay. Let me do what I have been doing a lot lately. In having this conversation about this synchronicity or this synthesis of ideas, combining of ideas, right? It could be that you are um, unearthing how much, like, you're discovering, right? Because we have the moon card at the bottom of the deck here. You could be uncovering, wow, we've done. Okay, I'm sorry. Like in my head, I just heard, you are discovering the secret. Like you're discovering how to beat the devil. And I say that like you understand that having this conversation and this kind of this this conversation of souls, right? You now understand that you're beating the devil because you don't have any kind of outside demon drawing you as temptation. You are in this together with this person because you can see this is a man and a woman, linked together by change to this devil. And you know even though you can see, right, that there is, of course, here this meaning card that I've pulled out, and I keep adding to it as I link more meanings to it. But I definitely see with this devil card, it's almost like you're freeing yourself from the constraints of, oh, you're freeing yourself from the constraints of tradition, of, um, because so many of us, right, have relied on an ideal, oh, your relationship is supposed to look like this, or your friendship is supposed to look like this, and you keep trying to hold yourself to the standards. That is what I see in this card. The standards that you are trying to hold yourself against become like, why am I trying to hold myself to unrealistic standards? This is ridiculous. But everything that happens here, because sometimes, this the situation of looking away could turn into something dire. But when you start really unearthing, right, and really get into your feelings and really get into the mystery and your intuition, you are understanding, wait, 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 wait. What is it that's driving me to want to uphold myself to certain ways of acting or living or being, right? How many minutes am I at? I'm at 30 minutes. Okay. So that is your reading for your full moon. And of course, the moon card being at the bottom says it all. The moon is, of course, represented by Pisces. This is about experiencing those mysteries, going, going through the gates and like, this is something you've got to go through. You can't just, there's one of my tarot books describes it as, when you're on the journey of the fool, um, you can't just stay in the ether, right? You have to come back down to earth, and the moon is on that path back down to earth, right? So you've got to pass through this weirdness. It's going to be weird, but you'll be fine because you understand that sometimes you're holding yourself to false standards, and they're attached to you, and you need to understand we don't need to attach ourselves to those. Okay, so let's go ahead and do the weekly reading, and I'll do I didn't realize I had gone so long. All right, so I call on my divine masters and teachers. I call on my ascended and enlightened ancestors. And I call on the spirit of the elements of air, fire, water, earth, and the spirit of the nature that combines them all. The nature being oneness, unity, wholeness. I call on all of these beings to come to this reading with some guidance for the collective for the week of August 30th. All right, Spirit, can you give us some guidance for the week of August 31st for the collective? Thank you, Spirit. Thank you. Can you give us some guidance for the week of August 30th? Oops. Oh, this is going to be a long reading. Hopefully my video won't come out on me, cut out on me. Okay. Okay. Okay, we're good. We're good. That's it. That's it. All right. How did this come out? Okay. There's a lot of cards, but I'm going to go probably really quickly because I might be running out of space. So we've got the Five of Cups, Ace of Wands, Ace of Pentacles, Four of Pentacles, the Lovers, Death, and the Four of Wands. So let me do really quick. Oh, and at the bottom of the deck, we have the Magician. Now, overall, I'm going to say because the Magician is here, it looks like someone is wanting to create something new. And because the Five of Cups is at the start of the reading, it looks as if someone is starting new, wanting to start something new after a period of grief or mourning. Someone is not seeing that there's still something available. And what ends up happening is this Ace of Wands, the Ace of Wands and the Ace of Pentacles are both coming in with divine new beginnings. So this person who is experiencing this grief is coming out of this, in being presented with this divine new passion and divine new resources. So both the things that we need to kind of get going are being offered if we're looking out for it. But you probably won't see it unless you really look at the Pentacle side of this offer. The Pentacles are resources, are money. You won't know it's a real offer until you see the money that comes with it, or like the material that comes with it. But now we have this four of Pentacles, and because someone is still really in their grief, and even though this offer is coming in, it's almost like they're still being very greedy, very resistant, very there's a resistance here, resistance to expansion of that growth, right? They're not really seeing this is not really seeing what you have can be shared out because, and it's probably based on, a past hurt or something. And of course, the Lovers is here. The Lovers card is about that decision making, but it's also about this is it's the Lovers card. This could be about a love situation. Someone is not wanting to share um, because of this resistance, right? This resistance to sharing resources. Yeah. And even though there's like a new beginning available, there's definitely a transformation here coming through. And death is represented, I believe, by Scorpio. So this could be something that happens in Scorpio season. Death is actually not actually death. It's more of a very deep transformation. By understanding the resistance to this love situation, someone goes through a transformation process. But that transformation process, interestingly enough, leads to the Four of Wands. And the Four of Wands is about celebration, stability. This Four of Pentacles has, this resistance to this love situation or this decision, right? This big decision that needs to be made ultimately does lead someone to stability, a wedding, even a joining of finances, a joining of passions to create, a new, what's the word? New structure, new structure. And it just is interesting that there's so much resistance here, but it's in your favor to like, yeah. Hmm. This Four of Pentacles is kind of like the linchpin here for this, and I kind of want to take a look and see. Okay, let me get a little bit more of a meaning for this, because this. I'm trying to read very quickly, and because I'm doing that, I'm like not really. Let's see. Four of Pentacles, yeah. Possession and control, yeah. Because yes, here there's material gain and stability, but yeah, the Wild and Young book says the Four of Pentacles first suggests material gain and stability. Only good news for your bank account and home, yet underneath the surface, this is a card of warning. Do not become possessive or controlling. Holding on too tightly to the material world will leave you rigid, stagnant, and displeasing to others. Wealth is a concept. Yeah. So it looks as if someone is, you could even be making an offer of like passion and new pentacles to someone, and they're like, yeah, okay, and they're trying to control like what the outcome is. And of course, decisions could be the lovers could be a decision, but this could also be someone is trying to control this love situation, this relationship. And because of that, there's some sort of transformation that happens. And yet, it still comes out being in a stable position of passion, in a stable position of like a wedding, even. I don't know why I'm seeing that. This is a weird journey. So if this resonates, yay for you. But of course, we have the magician at the bottom. So this is someone who is heavy creating mode, I'm going to go ahead and do an animal spirit for some guidance. Let's see, we're at about 40 minutes. Hopefully this holds out. Spirit, can you give us some guidance for the week? Can you give us some guidance for the week of August 30th? Thank you so much, Spirit. Just one. Thank you. Dear card. Dear. Oh, dear. All right, let's get reading for the deer. Could be deer in headlights, right? Someone is like, what? You want to make me a what offer? Okay, sorry, I'm just playing around. Let's look for deer. Snake. And of course, this is Wild and Known Animal Spirit deck. Where are you, dear? Okay. Deer. Loving, intuitive, graceful. The mother. Of course, we're in the mother phase of the moon. The deer represents the feminine aspects of earth energy. This energy is available to all creatures, regardless of gender, but is especially potent in new parents. During the first few days, they are fully present, nurturing, and calm. Their inner beauty radiates, and a sense of grace calms the room. The deer personality affects others in this way, drawing them toward a quiet tenderness. The deer card may appear when a birth or celebration of new life draws near, or when a situation calls for absolute gentleness and compassion. And that is funny because whatever is happening in this reading is going to require tons of compassion, because when you're making an offer of passion and, pentacles, like new job, new resources to someone, and they're looking at you like, they're kind of looking a gift horse in the mouth. It's going to take a lot of compassion to get beyond this possession and control. So when you're in balance in this deer energy, you're receptive, compassionate, and nurturing. But when you're out of balance, you're concerned and protective. To bring into balance, get out into nature or be around children. So that might be one way to get beyond this resistance or this, need to be possessive, is to step completely out and just get into nature and let shit take care of itself, quite honestly. Okay. This has been your full moon reading and your reading for the week. I think next time I'm going to try and separate them out, because right now all I have is my phone when I'm posting, and it's been kind of taxing on my phone to get the technology and everything down. So I apologize for the quickness of this reading, but look forward to seeing you next week, and I hope you have a wonderful full moon. All right. Thank you so much for being here. Namaste. As above, so below. Thank you so much. Bye bye.